The question is, how do you get more applications from qualified techs? So we had lots of shop owners that wrote in and said, hey, you know what? We're getting applications, but they're not qualified. We really need to get more qualified applications. So we have a troubleshooting document. So it's part of what my team uses in order to troubleshoot campaigns when we're not getting enough applications, we're not getting the right types of applications, we're not getting enough eyeballs, whatever it may be. We've got this document that we use to troubleshoot. So I'm going to give you 9 strategies that are from this document that you can use right away to put into practice to get more qualified applications from good techs. So, number 1, revise your ad to clarify experience requirements. So if you write a generic ad, then the generic ad may not have any information in it regarding experience. Be specific about your experience. It's not going to be 100% foolproof because a lot of times people don't read the entire ad. But if you put your required experience, several places within the ad, they'll have more of an opportunity to see that, and less qualified candidates will be dissuaded from applying. I do need to tell you though that a lot of shop owners that I talk with and managers, I like to educate them on this point because it's not a bad thing to get an unqualified applicant. And let me explain that. If you get an applicant, I mean, clearly, if somebody was delivering pizzas and then they applied to be, an A tech, a master tech, that's not going to work. But if somebody is, a BC tech or a lube tech or something, and you are looking for a more qualified individual, it doesn't hurt to talk to them. And here's why. We're going to cover this in a step a little bit later, but everybody knows somebody. If they've worked in a professional automotive repair or diesel repair facility or shop or business, they know other techs. And if you do a good job of asking for referrals, they can lead to somebody else. So let me tell you that it's not necessarily just wanting to get more only qualified applications. We want to look at volume and quality at the same time. And I'll just tell you, what we see that about 25% of the applications that we generate for our clients, we're generating, between 300 anywhere up to 500 applications a week. And what we're seeing is that 25% of those applications are really solid. They're really solid candidates, but we don't throw away that other 75%. We walk through a strategy on how to ask for referrals. So that's also very important. So revise your ad to clarify experience requirements. 2, include a deal breaker question on Indeed. So something like 5 years of experience as a technician in a professional repair business. So Indeed allows you to ask questions when they are applying, and then you can mark them as the deal breakers or not. If they're not a deal breaker, they can go ahead and apply. But if they are a deal breaker and they answer the question no, it basically chucks their application. And so it reminds them of the necessity of having that requirement. So even if they don't read the ad all the way through, when they come to answering the questions, they'll see it and they'll say, you know what, and then maybe they'll take themselves out of the running. But again, we generally like to see more volume of applications come in. Anytime we're filtering down too much, we don't get enough applications, especially if it's a very tight market where you are. And that can hurt the chances of you hiring as well. So deal breakers do help if you need to get a higher quality candidate. The third thing is I always talk to shop owners when we're working with them about managing expectations. You know what? Sometimes I just have to tell them straight up, stop looking for a unicorn. We may have to be in a situation, and I would never tell somebody, hire a dud, but we may be in a situation where, a solid B tech can get the job done. We may be in a situation where you can bring somebody on and train them, and we can engage some sort of a passive strategy for looking for additional technicians as we go forward. But for right now, if you're losing $2,000 a day because you're down a tech, you don't want to wait for 6 weeks, 8 weeks to find that unicorn that may never come in. As a matter of fact, I talk to shop owners and I say, how long have you been looking for a good tech? And And, a lot of them will joke and they'll tell me, as long as I've been in this business. So if you're, manage expectations and decide what you can use, what's workable, who can come in and get the job done, and let's focus on that. Another thing that I see a lot of times is what we do when we're working with clients is we do a lot of stuff. We front load our campaigns. So we typically see a lot of applications come in pretty quickly, and it provides a false sense of security. So, the shop will say, oh, well, we're getting all these applications, we can wait, we can be picky, and we can be selective. Well, that's not a good strategy either, because if you wait, then somebody else is going to snap these folks up. So I highly recommend that. I mean, we all know how this works. If somebody's looking, they're going to get a job. Within a week, they're going to be moving their toolbox in somewhere else. So you don't want to wait. If this is somebody who can get the job done, they're solid enough, bring them on board, continue to look. And then if you find somebody that is, even better, then you can cross that bridge when you come to it. But we always like to say, manage your expectations and stop looking for that unicorn. Number 4 is offer a higher salary. That's the simplistic explanation, right? I can't tell you how many calls I've been on. We have onboarding calls with our new clients. And what'll happen is we'll go over the process and we'll get to the question, what's the salary range? And, they'll tell me a salary range, and then we'll pop over, we'll look at, we'll look at the job boards, and I'll say, well, right here, it's pretty clear. You're way under any of the A-Tech salaries in your region. We can see it. And basically, guess what? That's what everybody else looks at too. So if you go on a site like Indeed and you look at the top 20, you average the top 20 job ads for salary for A-Techs, what they're offering. So you can't come in under that and think that you're going to get a lot of applications from quality applicants. So I always say, you always want to offer the highest salary that you can. You can take a look at Indeed Analytics and their hiring metrics, and you can see what the average salary is for your range within a 25 mile range of where you are. You can see what the high end of the salaries are, and then you can just do a spot check and you can see what other shops are paying. So if you are significantly below what everything else is in your area, good technicians aren't even going to bother. They're not going to apply. So if you say, oh, I'm not getting enough quality applications, offering a higher salary is important. And there's another technique that dovetails with this. The other technique is increasing the benefits. So it's the same type of situation. If somebody's going down the page on Indeed, there's 3 things really that are highlighted on Indeed. One is the title, the job title. That's why in the last lesson, we spent so much time on teaching you how to write a good headline. The next thing is the salary. And then the third thing are the benefits. I mean, they're all right up front and center. So maybe you need to offer some more benefits. And it's not a matter of, going out and, providing, a full suite of healthcare and disability and life insurance and all that good 401ks and all that stuff. But what it is a matter of is, what could you potentially offer? So I always ask this question. I always ask, would you feel comfortable having this conversation? So I'll ask someone, hey, do you offer a retirement plan? Do you offer a simple IRA, 401k, anything like that? And the answer is no. I say, well, would you feel comfortable having a conversation if you had a good candidate and they said, you know what, I'd really like some type of retirement plan? Would you feel comfortable having that conversation with them? Would you feel comfortable having a conversation of saying, hey, you know what, I'll talk to my accountant and let's see if we can do something? Would you feel comfortable having a conversation that says, you know what, I'll put an extra $200 in your pay envelope, every payday, and you can put that towards something else? I mean, is it a conversation that you feel comfortable having? And that's the same thing with salary. With salary, a lot of shop owners that I work with, they don't feel super comfortable offering, $120,000 out of the gate or something like that, for example. But I say, well, you know what? If if you're sitting across the table from a tech and or across your desk, and he said, you know what, I'm making X now. Could you have the conversation and show them how, based on productivity and efficiency, they could get to that level? Would you feel comfortable having that conversation and show them how to get to that level based on, production? And most of the time they'll say, yeah, I could show somebody. If somebody's productive and they come in here, they're productive and they're efficient, I can show them how to get to whatever level of income they want. So I say, okay, let's say yes, let's offer a higher salary. The other thing I say is, what is your top guy making right now? What's your top tech making? And if it's a good solid number, then I say, okay, well, let's use that. And I was actually working with the shop. We're working with them now, as a matter of fact. Their top tech is he's an absolute rock star. He's billing 80 plus hours a week, some weeks 90. And he makes an insane salary because he takes care of him, because the owner takes care of him. And so what we put out in the ads is we put out a number, and that's the number that he takes home. And it was funny because some of the other techs in the shop started to question it. They saw the ad, because we post these ads everywhere. They saw the ad and they said, what? And they call BS on it. And they're all sitting around in the break room. And it's funny to hear him tell the story, but they're all sitting around in the break room. And he says, do you know he's advertising this? And the guy who's making it said, yeah, that's what I made. And so it was just a really funny conversation because, and the moral of the story is, if you can show that you have somebody that's actually earning that, that's part of the conversation. You feel comfortable having that conversation. And the other part of it is, it's kind of a good ending, a happy ending for that story, is the rest of the technicians started stepping up their game when they realized what this tech was earning. So I highly recommend that if you feel comfortable having the conversation about any of the benefits, whether it be parental leave, or vacations or anything, if you feel comfortable, or relocation packages, anything like that, if you feel comfortable having that conversation, then say yes and add it as a benefit in your ad. The next one is level 2, fishing. We call it fishing on Indeed. So find good techs who aren't looking. So one of the things I always talk about is there have been lots of studies done in the industry about the percentage of technicians that are looking for work at any given time. So I've seen stats that are all over the place, but generally what they say is only about 5% to 10% of the industry, of the technicians in the industry who are in the industry, are looking for a job at any given time. So if you're putting your ads out on Indeed, you're putting ads out on ZipRecruiter, you're putting ads out in any of those areas, you are only advertising to between 5 and 10% of the technicians, because that's the only people that are going to see your ad. So 20, 25%, somewhere in there, they are not going to go anywhere. They're going to retire from where they are now. They're going to stay at that shop forever. It doesn't matter what you offered them. They're just not interested in listening. And then you've got, 70, 75%, 65 to 75%, let's say, of technicians who are open to having a conversation, and they're open to a better opportunity, but they're not actively looking. So even if you dangle a great opportunity out there on the job boards, they're not going to see it because they're working, they're busy, and they're not looking every day on Indeed for new jobs. So level 2 fishing is it's going deeper into Indeed. It's actually looking for resumes, searching for resumes, and getting in front of techs who aren't even actively looking. So it's getting deeper, and it is doing that legwork. So we actually have someone on our team that does that every single day. They're in there. They're doing actually 3 different levels of fishing on Indeed, and looking for technicians who may not be looking. So that's a more qualified technician, and it's somebody that you can really weed out manually because you're in there searching. Strategy number 7, ask for referrals, flyers, and postcards. This is amazingly powerful, and it's amazingly simple. And I just don't know why more shops aren't doing this. What we do for our clients is we actually put postcards together, and almost none of our clients use them, but the ones that do use them always report great results. And what we do is we create a postcard. It works best if you have some sort of a referral fee. So you offer a fee for a referral, whether it's $500,000, whatever, and you print up a little postcard. And then once you have these postcards, you just make it a game. Hand out 5 of these postcards a day, or you print out a flyer. You hand out 5 of these flyers a day. You can hand them out anywhere. You can hand them out to, when you have interviews, hand them out to the people you interviewed. You can hand them out. You can have them at the front desk. You can hand them out at one of our clients. They have a parade that goes right in front of their shop every year, and they have 2 of their service advisors handing out these flyers every time they have the parade. So there's all types of things. We have shop owners that take them to their BNI meetings, their business networking international meetings, Rotary groups, everywhere that you can think of. You just hand out the flyers. And probably the most effective place to hand out the flyers is in your team meetings. We just recently had a shop of ours, a diesel repair shop. They printed a bunch of postcards, and then they handed them out in a meeting. They ended up hiring 2 techs within 2 weeks, because even though the people on their team knew they were looking, it just wasn't top of mind. But when they had something physical to walk away with, and they had the incentive of a $500 referral fee, now all of a sudden it becomes urgent and it becomes important. So that's the power of these referrals. I'm going to give you one other referral strategy that's also very effective. This referral strategy is, and this goes back to what I talked about in one of the earlier points. This is why you want to talk to everybody that you can, and you don't want to automatically weed out unqualified applicants. When you talk to an applicant, one of the things you can do is you can say, hey, it's been great talking with you. What I'd like to do is just get a better idea of, your work ethic, your character, what you're capable of. Can you give me the names and contact information from 2 techs that you respect, that you've worked with in the past? And now you've gathered 2 additional technicians, and then you just follow up with them. So you follow up with them, and when you call them, you say, hey, you know what? I was just talking with John Smith. He has some really kind things to say about you. I just wanted to find out what you thought about him. And then you talk, you have the conversation, and then at the end of the conversation, you say, hey, by the way, you wouldn't happen to be looking or know anyone that's looking, would you? Now, all of a sudden, it expands out, and it gets you talking to more people. It gets you thinking about people. And then if you offer that referral fee, drop the referral fee in the conversation too. Hey, if you know somebody and you refer them my way and it works out, we'll put $500 in your pocket, or we'll put $1,000 in your pocket. So all of these strategies, and by the way, referrals typically get the highest quality candidates. And I know all of you know this. It's one of those things that we all do as human beings, and that we all do as business owners. When we find something that works really, really well, we stop doing it, right? Or we forget that we did it. And then we're reminded, 6 months, 8 months down the road, oh yeah, I did that. It was so great. Why did I stop doing that? So ask for referrals. Just do it. Print up postcards. It's the easiest thing, and it's the cheapest thing, and it's powerful, and it will get you results. Number 8, get more eyeballs on your ads. And there's 2 ways to get eyeballs on your ads. There are, you can pump more money into your advertising campaigns. You want to do it the right way. Pumping more money at, or throwing more money at Indeed probably is not the right way. They'll hate me for saying this, but Indeed is if you look at it from a perspective of cost per click, cost per application, cost per view, Indeed is ridiculously expensive. They're very, very expensive. There are much cheaper ways to get more eyeballs on your ads. That's why we use social media. It's a fraction of the cost. I was actually talking with an Indeed rep for one of our clients in Florida, and she was, basically anytime you get on the phone with one of these reps, it's the whole conversation revolves around getting you to spend more money on the platform. It's like, oh yeah, we want to have a conversation with you to help you, optimize your ads. And it always comes down to, yeah, the way that you optimize your ads is by giving us more money. It always comes down to that. But I always like to talk with them pretty frequently because I want to know what's new on the platform. That platform specifically is changing like crazy. And now they're doing things with, they want to charge everybody per application. And we've had 3 clients now. We've caught problems that are happening with this, and we notified them and said, hey, you realize that you realize that ad that you posted is not something that we posted, but it's something you posted. It's you're running up quite a tab on that. And then they say, whoa, no, what do you mean? One of our clients ran up $1,800 because they're charging per application. And when you have set it to charge per application, Indeed goes to work. I mean, they're incentivized to send you everything, and you'll get a bunch of junk. You'll get a bunch of, you get people that work at Walmart that are, applying for an A-Tech job, and Indeed's just throwing all this stuff at you. And if you're not right on top of it on a second by second basis, and you're rejecting these right away, it stacks up really quickly and it can get away from you. So if you want to get more eyeballs on your ads, there are cheaper ways to do that. And we can help you with that. We can talk about that. But if you want to get more eyeballs on your ads, lots of things happen when you get more eyeballs on your ads. We have clients who have had hundreds of thousands of eyeballs on their ads. And what that does for you is it gets not only technicians see the ads, because we focus very tightly on showing ads to technicians. But the reality is lots of other people see these ads too. So it's not just technicians that see ads. Technicians see ads, technicians' spouses see the ads, technicians' friends that are sitting around with them and hanging out, and they're hearing them bitch about their, how they don't like their shop. They see the ads, they end up tagging them. Family, other family, acquaintances, lots of people see these ads. The more eyeballs you can get on an ad, it does something. It gets you more referrals, and again, referrals are higher quality candidates generally. So that's another area. The other area, so that's volume. Let's talk about longevity. The best way to run a longevity campaign, and by longevity I mean just being in the game for a while. So ongoing passive campaigns are a great way to do that. So what do I mean by ongoing passive campaigns? What a lot of shops will do is they've realized a reality. And the reality is, if you're going to own your business for 5, 10, 15, 20 more years, you're constantly going to be in the process of hiring. You just are. That's the way it works. And so you're never going to really stop. And I think a lot of shop owners, I mean, I've been in this area for 5 years. And I know a lot of people have who are watching this have been in this industry for a lot longer than I have. And you've seen big changes. And the shop owners I've talked to have seen big changes too. It used to be a point where, as I mentioned earlier, that you could just put out an ad on Craigslist, boom, get a bunch of applications over the weekend, and you're good. So an on-demand type of environment was workable. Now what you want to do is you want to be building up your bench. You want to be building your bullpen, so to speak. You want to be creating an experience where you want to be creating an environment where you're constantly gathering names and you're constantly keeping in touch with these individuals. So passive campaigns can be things like social media posts. It can be social media posts where you are, when you do things as a team, then you post things about doing things as a team. It's things that show that your shop is very family oriented and very employee oriented. Games that you play, incentives, recognition of team members. When you dress the shop up for different, you dress the lobby up for different holidays, all these types of things. When you bring dogs into the shop, all these types of things. Not only are they good for customers, but they're good for future prospective employees. And so having these types of passive campaigns running and always talking to individuals on an ongoing basis allows you to build that list. So the next time somebody walks out on you, or the next time somebody calls out on you and then decides they aren't going to come back, you can pull out that list and you can start making calls directly off of that list. And you don't have to start from ground zero with an entire hiring campaign. So hopefully that information is beneficial for you. And if you have any questions, you can always give us a call. You can send me an email, and you can also visit our website, and we're happy to help. Let you know, we do have a open slot available for our technician find service. So if you are looking for technicians right now, please let me know as soon as you can. We have actually bumped up against our limits. So we're just kind of doing one in, one out now. We're building a waiting list as soon as we fill that additional slot. So we're very strict about how many people that we're going to allow in because of competition, and just quite frankly, our team wants to do a good job with the clients that we're serving. So give me a call. Let me know if you'd like help. Take care.